Tonight, this is Civic Tech Hack Night 284. Tonight, our presenter will be Susmita Roy. And we're going to meet a project manager at the Ontario Digital Service. Tonight, we're joined by Susmita, a project manager at the Ontario Digital Service, who will share her experience as a project manager using open source while balancing usability, plain language, and ongoing user feedback in the beta launch of Notify, a government software as a service accessed via API or web interface designed for use by any ministry service to send on-demand or batch communications. I'm sure you'll hear more about it soon, but please join me by hitting those react buttons and welcome Susmita.
Hey, thank you, Curtis. So I'm going to share my screen in a minute. Okay. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so thanks for the lovely introduction. So I'm the product manager at Ontario Digital Service. My pronouns are she, her. And currently I'm leading the Notify platform, which we want to talk about, like what work we have done and how have we achieved what we achieved so far. So what is Notify? So in a simpler term, Twilio for government, because most of us probably know about Twilio as a communication platform. So we have recently launched a notification platform, which is Notify in private beta. And this service is developed by ODS Notify and enhanced also by us that allows government to send emails, text messages, and automated voice call to public who uses their service. So this application can be accessed either via API or via web application. And some of the primary features and most important features of Notify are creating and managing the templates, sending the messaging from the application, and also seeing the reporting, what is the message status, so whether it's been delivered or not, if it's failed, why it's failed, stuff like that. However, we haven't really built this from scratch. We have adopted the open source code from mostly Government of Canada's Notify and also from UK government's Notify solution, which are extremely successful in their jurisdiction. So the Notify application was actually initially built by UK government, and the kudos to them to kept it in the open source and kept enhancing the product. So we also picked it up from there. So how it all started at the Ontario government, why even Notify? So at 2019 Ontario budget, the direction was to move ahead with the 21st century digital strategy by keeping people at the center of government services. This gave the direction to adopt new digital practices, change in policy barriers to deliver user-centric digital services to Ontarians. Now, before going into the details of Notify, I want to introduce you all with the great Notify team. So we follow agile methodology mostly at the ODS while developing the software products. And luckily, I have amazing self-motivated team who brings the best on the table and push the limits to develop the excellent product all the time. We have cross-functional team along with me. We have Scrum Master, developers, front-end and back-end, and UX designer who are working full-time on the Notify product. Then we have an excellent extended team of architect, policy analyst, DevOps, content designer, and QA to support the team when required. Well, along with the Notify team, ODS leadership team, we have Dara and Shauna here and many others. They are always there to support us to clear organization barriers, which most of us faced many times at government, and making the path forward for the team to keep delivering great works. So some benefits of having a notification platform in the government. So through the user research, we have identified across Ontario Public Service that there is a need to send out notifications from various applications. But currently, most government interactions with public relies on paper communications. And obviously, paper is costlier than email, SMS. So Notify provides that single platform, which includes email, SMS, and automated voice call channels for government services to interact with public. Currently, each time a one-off solution is built for this, programs had to repeat the same manual process. Somebody has already gone through before procurement, approval process, everything, integration. So along with the vision to meet government's need to send notifications, we also want to provide a consistent experience for the public so that while using different services from government, they receive consistent communications and can trust those moreover. So this is the path we followed to introduce Notify within Ontario government. We started our journey with user research to understand the need. Then we invested time to understand the open source code, enhanced it to meet Ontario government's need along with cloud infrastructure setup. Then most recently, we have launched private beta to support our partner from Service Ontario to integrate a renewal reminder application with Notify. So here are some examples of like what we actually heard from the public. So we talked with general public during the just the beginning of the COVID actually to understand their perspective about how they are currently interacting with government services. Are they happy about it? Do they want to receive like a digital communications of any sort? So we heard that most people expect to get at least email confirmation or notification from the services they are using. Many people actually wanted to receive SMS if this is just a reminder. Let's say you have an appointment coming or you have a license to be renewed at a certain time. Some people surprisingly actually mentioned that they would like automated voice call. Along with the like a public user research that we all the time do, we also did a lot of internal user research because Notify is an internal application. So there is a myth currently, right, that user research and usability is only for public facing applications and we have to do it right. But we believe that internal users experience is as important as public users. So we developed user research plan with the primary users of Notify application. We conducted user research within Ontario Public Service to understand how can we make their life better when they are the one processing all those content for sending out the notifications. Some examples are, let's say, Ministry of Project or product team who has an interest to integrate with Notify to send out the notification to the actual public, and they need to know how they can be integrated their application with Notify, like what form of like API integration is to be done or what is available from the Notify team to support them in their journey. And then the other user group, our ministry program area lead, who will be basically spending the money on their side, right? So they need to know that whether Notify is cost effective, why would they even do Notify if they already have something off the shelf or they probably have developed something for email services. So to kind of meet all the need, we went with the Notify solution from the open source code. But what we realized initially is that when it comes to decide which solution, we usually talk about, okay, build versus buy, doing all the analysis work. But what we thought, why do we even build something which has already been built and successfully working in many other jurisdictions? So we just picked it up from there. We had a lot of discussions with Canadian Digital Services Notify product team. We reached out to Australia Notify team to understand their perspective, what challenges they have faced while kind of adapting the Notify as an open source. And they also shared a lot of lessons learned. So we believe that just because we are in government, we don't have to follow legacy technology, right? So we implemented this as a multi-cloud solution so that we can get the best of different services to deliver a reliable platform. So here also, Ontario Notify is the first in Ontario Public Service to use Azure Red Hat OpenShift to support secure microservice architecture. So what we thought is that rather than using one particular service, let's say Amazon Web Services for kind of sending the communication and as well hosting it, why don't we look around within the OPS, Ontario Public Service, what is available for hosting the application? So we started from there. Some benefits of using Notify open source. Obviously, the first one is accelerated kind of delivery time, as we did not have to do discovery and alpha phases, and we did not have to start the design from the scratch, right? A lot of it was built and quite matched with the needs that our business need had. The email functionality was pretty straightforward. So kudos to UK team, Canadian Digital Services team. It did not require much customization to start with. And then because Canadian Digital Services Notify uses the same email service that we are using, it was kind of a pretty kind of easy for us to start ahead and kind of getting set it up quickly and then sent an email, and wow, we were happy that it is working. No, there were lots of works after that we had to do, but at least it was a great start. So that was awesome. And one of the great benefit from Government of Canada Notify is that they had both English and French, because they're also bilingual. So we didn't have to like start from the scratch for the French translation. So that was great. And it was relatively easy for us to port the code, but then obviously we enhanced as we go. And the fact that lots of other jurisdictions used that, we could trust that this is a reliable solution. Obviously, the customization is needed that we'll get into. But to start that decision about using Notify, we could rely on the fact that other jurisdictions are using it successfully. We have done quite a lot of enhancement and added new features. One of the thing is automated voice call. While modernizing the services at the Ontario Digital Service, our approach is digital first, not digital only. So while identifying the digital divide, we made sure that our ministry partners can reach to as many people as possible. Automated voice call is another option to notify users who may not have access to internet all the time, or may choose voice call over SMS for many reasons. So that was the great addition to the Notify features. And we were very successfully actually registered Canadian shortcode, which is more than 6 months process to go through all the approvals so that Canadian providers and telcos, so they approve the shortcode so that we can send mass text messages. So we secured that for Service Ontario's digital reminder. We also enabled the two-way text messaging. So as per the Canadian anti-spam law, we must provide the unsubscribe opportunity for SMS. So we enabled not only that, but what auto-generated replies for keywords like, let's say, help, info, stuff like that. And we added the comprehensive list of failure messages to help partners identify the reason of why messages are failing, if those are failing, and so that they can work on it. So for example, sometimes there are typos when people are giving their email addresses, and we have seen that a lot recently. Most of the email failed messages are because of the typos. So this gives the opportunity to partners to identify, and when the customer reach out to them, they have an answer that why the messages were failed. So one of the great things my team is doing now is open telemetry to monitor the performance and tracking issues within the application. We still have a long way to go, but it's a great start. And this is being very helpful till now. While doing the software project, there is no challenge, it can't happen. So there were some challenges that we face with the open source code, but it's mostly, first of all, I would say, to gain the trust within the organization about using the open source code because of different security standards that Ontario government follows for an internal facing application. We almost resolved all of these challenges by constantly working with cybersecurity to identify the IT standards internally, implementing those within the application to add extra security layers, and by conducting penetration testing on the application. And you know what, once the penetration testing resulted no issue at all, we started building that trust slowly that the application can be configured to meet the security standards. We also worked with Privacy Office to understand the parameters of being compliant with privacy standards. Another barrier was initially to identify actually the right skills within Ontario Public Service to match the skill sets which are required to work on this application, as it is a Python-based application. So it took some time on that hiring process. We invested a lot of time to understand how the different features of Notify works, how the configuration is done, whether it's meeting our needs. So that took a bit of time to start, but I think compared to how much time we have saved, and especially in the discovery and alpha, this is very minimal. So here is our first use case, a digital reminder. You can actually go to ontario.ca/reminders to sign up for your driving license, license plate sticker, and health card reminders, and you will get the notifications and the confirmation messages via Notify. So it actually got two elements in it, the sign up, which sends out the confirmation messages to double opt-in, and then the actual reminders, which are batch processed from the source systems. So this allowed us to roll out the product in a limited way and actively providing all methods of communication, fully testing Notify. So our current launch with the digital reminder is within the sign up functionality, but the release of the reminders is going to be scheduled, I think, from May this year. How the application is performing. So it's been 2 weeks we launched, and within 2 weeks, we have already sent over 13,000 emails, more than 6,000 SMS, and almost 1,000 automated voice calls. And on the right side of the screen, there is a snapshot of how Service Ontario Digital Reminder is performing. So it's amazing. Like within 2 weeks of soft launch, there was no announcement as well. And this is a great start. Here are some roadmap items that we are aiming to achieve. So the next in the line is the billing feature. We want the application to provide the right costing before just rolling out as an enterprise platform. But obviously, we are going through the internal gating process to gain the success as an official enterprise platform to send out kind of notifications. And so that is so easier. It's going to be so easier for the program areas to kind of easily self-serve connected with Notify, whether it's API or on demand, and use it straight away. And they will save a lot of implementation time cost on that. And the other works we are going to do is onboarding tutorial material enhancement. We got some user feedback on those and some design updates with the text editor. So with that, those are the update of Notify. And as Shauna and Dara was saying, we are hiring, and you can find the jobs ontario.ca/digital jobs. And if you have any question, I'm happy to answer. I was not monitoring the chat, but now I will. Okay. Any question?
Oh, sorry. I'm clicking on everything at the same time, and other people click on things, and then my windows go away, and I'm clicking on something I didn't bring up. Thank you very much, Susmita, for that very interesting presentation. I have stopped the recording now, but I have lost the Zoom meeting window. So let me just find that now. Oh my gosh, it's totally gone. But please, if you have questions, put a Q in the chat, and we'll take some questions.
So I can see some questions. So David, you asked, since UK, Australia, Canada all use the same baseline Notify framework, does that mean there could theoretically be cross-jurisdictional capabilities in the future? Can't think of a practical use case, but it would be interesting if it was possible. That's a great question, David, actually. So we had the same in mind when we started Notify, and we actually reached out to Government of Canada Notify asking if we can use their service.